good morning to you. Good morning. And how do you do? Look at I'm not muted this morning. Woo! Good morning to you. But I'm warm. Spring has sprung, I guess. I don't know. I guess. How is everyone? Good morning. Good morning to you. GP! Just checking that Carla hasn't set any traps. GP was here earlier to make sure there was no trap set for him. Safely. Oh, my hair's all messy. Beep, beep. I should get like hair colored, oh man. Hair colored. Good morning, Lee. How are you? How's your vacation? I hope it's good. I still haven't figured out the audio on getting guests on. I know I need Bobo to help me practice to test something, but I can't figure out how to get everything to work to bring guests on, and it's very frustrating to me. I just want you to know that. I'm so frustrated by that. Anyway, thank you. It's so good to see you. I hope you're having the most wonderfulest time. I really do. So, hi Easily. How are you, darling? You doing okay? I'm doing okay. I overslept. Well, I kind of overslept. It's a long story. I was supposed to wake up in the middle of the night to help Bobo with something, and I slept through my alarm. So I'm like the most worthless. Man, my thing is like buzzing. I'm like the most worthless mother sometimes. And I was this morning. Anyway, good morning. How are you? What are we going to do today? What are we doing today? Oh my God, we have a lot. Oh no, we don't. I was just kidding. Well, there's actually stuff. Wait, what is that? Look at venture investment. Oh yeah, I want to make a note of that. Well, it doesn't matter. We're gonna do what we want to do. I might have to stop and drive Bobo somewhere in an hour and a half. Good morning, Badger. How are you, darling? But we're gonna figure it out. So let me look at what's happening. Yeah, the market. Woo! Free falling. I'm free. Oh wait. Oh no, that's not that. Free falling. Cause I'm free. Oh brother. Free falling. Let me see here. What? An amazing song about some weird video came up on my Beasley Besant clip. Yep. Jane, you had a part in that one. 'Cause I'm free. Oh, you know what's on at 7? Actually, there's a couple things happening. One is they have a Senate hearing. Get this, you guys. They have a Senate hearing to make daylight savings time permanent. Okay, so there's that. Your chives and herbs are coming up. Hell yeah, Easily. Spring is springing. Vacation has been good. Going home today, just clearing out of my condo. A few hours on the beach and then to the airport. It was a good break. Oh, Lee, I'm so happy. And I know it's never going to be enough, right? Like it's not going to be enough. Funny, I waited until now to fall asleep so I could half listen to you. I forced myself to stay up. Oh, Kim. That's the way. That's the way. Actually, I love that. I'll try and keep it calm. Keep it calm this morning. Kim, you're funny. We have the best people. Where is Neil? Wait a minute. Where is Neil? That's a good question. Where the heck is Neil? I don't know. Let me see here. Let's see. U.S. military Indo. Oh, okay. Well, that's. See, all of this is like old news, but they fucking package it as live. I hate that. Can we stop that, YouTube? YouTube has a lot of issues. I need to go tell YouTube what to do because I think that's they don't understand what they're doing. Anyway, good morning. Welcome to Wake and Bake. Welcome to Wake and Bake. I'm Lolo. It's so nice to see everybody. Yeah, let's see. Today I don't think there's tons going on, although I just heard there was something else that I wanted to watch, but I'm trying to think of someone just said it on Bloomberg. Someone's doing something. Oh well. Anyways, good morning. How are you? I hope you're well. I'm gonna just check the New York Times. I have to get caught up on all the haps. Neil, there you are. Oh my God. Neil, do you understand how much people were starting to worry? Do you? Do you? We have habits around here. YouTube didn't notify you. I don't understand that. I'm telling you right now, I have a list of things that YouTube could do better. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. You're at a diner in Lancaster, Ontario. Damn you, Neil. Jay Rance. Hi, bestie. How you doing? Boop, boop. It pisses me. Yeah, I'm like, what? I'm sure I'm being shadow banned. No? I always thought that was fucking hilarious. Oh my God. That's right. Morning, GP. I see you being back on the lounge as a sign, but the news broken a fraction of less than one. Wait, what? Has the news broken a fraction of less than 1% better? I don't know. Oh, I see. I see. Well, actually, I mean, don't speak too soon, Jane, because it's hold GP's beer, hold his Foster's, because we've got other issues awaiting us today. Anyway, good morning. Good morning. It's just all so much. It's all so very much. I thought there was a really good. Oh wait, I thought there was a really good hearing this morning. I'm sorry. I'm just not as organized as I could be. Damn it. Damn it. Is that too Pollyanna? A fraction of a less than 1%? No. I'll take it. I'll take all the fractions of 1%. Oh wait, I know. Mike's Little Johnson had a press thing this morning. I wanted to see that. Hold on. Mike's Little Johnson. Mike's Little Johnson. Yeah. Where are you, Mike Little Johnson? Wait, what's this? What's this? What's this? Speaker about budget. Oh, that's something else. Do 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 do. That's old. 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 Wait. Oh my God! They just don't give the whole press conference. They give like, here's 2 minutes of it, or here it is, running live, but it's real dumb. Oh well. Anyways, Mike Johnson speaks about budget. Is that true? House Speaker will throw a press conference. Well, where's the press conference? Where's the press conference? Ah, because I'm a little confused. I'm a little confused on what has happened with the bill. I understand that the House couldn't pass the Senate's rules last night or something. I'm a little confused on where we are with the whole like terrible budget thing. Let's see. What is that? 19 hours ago. That's probably too late. Sorry. Okay. All right. See, Butterfly says, G, Jane, Badger, Badger, J Rance, Neil, Kim, Badger again, Lee. Good morning, all. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. Gruder's my rep to Johnson. Are you kidding me? He said that? He said that? Oh my God. I guess, did he I thought he talked this morning, but I guess he talked yesterday? Whatever. All right. Anyway, Mike Johnson's an idiot. We have that established. Mike's Little Johnson is waiting for you. Waiting for you. Waiting for you. That's a stall. Wouldn't it be great if some Republicans stood up for people? I know. Wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be great? I know. Haven't they left? Oh, that's right. Have they left for Easter break? I think you're right. Oh, but actually, no, you're not right. Because we are going to be watching a Senate hearing considering making considering making daylight savings permanent. Which kind of seems funny in the light of everything that's happening. But maybe it's not. Maybe that's exactly what we should be doing. Maybe that's exactly what should be happening. Haven't finished this, but ooh, I'm gonna take it on. Americans give early Trump foreign policy actions mixed or negative reviews. That's the Pew Research Center. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We're gonna read that. Let me see. Let's see what else isn't. Enjoy, Neil. Where are you going, Neil? Oh, you're at the diner. That's right. Have fun at the diner. Good omelet. Oh fuck yeah. That sounds so good. That sounds so good. All right. Well, let's go over some headlines. I'm very sleepy this morning. I'm very sorry. I'm just not very on top of things. So I want to apologize in advance for the more than usual delay that I am providing. Okay, is that it? Yeah. No. Yes. No. Ah. Okay. All right. This is the New York Times. Shift North America's time zones ahead 1 hour. Why? I don't know, Neil. I don't know. Because big things are hard. And maybe little things are hard too, but they seem easier, so we're going to do them. It's going to become the fight of the century, by the way. Were you painting the town red? No. Well, was I? I kind of did stay up until like midnight. Is that painting the town red? I don't know what I was doing though. I mean, I wasn't watching any like of the chuds or anything. I think I was just bopping around from one stupid news piece to another. Yeah, Biden's communist daylight savings agenda must go down, must be defeated. Defeat the agenda. I got messages from you. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, you did. So, yeah, I guess I stayed up too late because I'm really like, but that's fine. What's different? J Rance Muskie. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. All right, the New York Times. Let's see. U.S. and China headed for a monumental split. Self-inflicted wounds. Self-inflicted wounds. Make them great again. Hi, GP. Is there buffering? It might. I don't know if it's you. I don't know if it's you. I don't know if anybody else is buffering. I hope not, because there's nothing I can do about it. This one doesn't have the same thing. Like the other online streaming platform had a little bit of a way for you to like fix something in the middle. Anytime I try to fix something in the middle of these streams on this particular platform, it shits the bed. I get that sometimes from YouTube, but not right now. Oh. You're kind of a rock. I'm glad you're back, Neil. Those 5 minutes without you were hard. You're kind of a feature, Neil. Okay, so enjoy that omelet. And we'll just be here by ourselves. I'm Team Permanent DST 100%. Hi, Carrie. How are ya? Oh, my God. Yeah, let's do it. Daylight Standard Time. Defense news. Is there defense news? My streams always lag. Oh my God, that's a terrible. Is that true? I gotta watch my streams more often. Hi, Teresa. How are you, darling? Mine was buffering yesterday, not so far. Oh my God, you guys, I'm so sorry. Maybe I'm not putting output enough or something. I don't know. Space Force. It is Space Force. Oh, really? Oh, isn't this interesting? Space Force issues $13.5 billion in contracts to launch 3 firms. Thanks, Cal, for this. No, I'm not lost in space. All right, let's see here. Oh, that's not big enough. That's not big enough. All right. Oh my God. You can't fix everything. Oh, thanks, Jane. Well, I just wish I could. I need to look into this system a little more because I think I might be missing something on troubleshooting certain things when I'm live. So that's what I want to find out. I'm always having to click the red dot. That's so weird. You can't fix the buffering. Yeah, that's true. I guess not. I guess not. But it doesn't seem. The problem too is it's actually just your stream in the last week. It's odd. Frozen now will turn off device and try again. You know what I wonder too is what is it? Or can you? I don't think I can because I don't see it buffering on this side. You know what I'm saying? So the problem is when you guys tell me it's buffering, that's the first I've heard of it. Whereas with the old platform, which was not a good platform, but at least the old platform would warn me, hey, your bit rate or whatever is low or something like that. So anyway, well, we'll keep monitoring it. Dun 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 dun. We're monitoring the transmission, Captain. Okay. Okay. It's a YouTube problem. God damn it. It's a fucking YouTube problem. Quit flexing, Muskie. I'm old and I can't drive at night, Neil. I can't either, by the way. I really do not see well at night. I'm not familiar with the second company here. Here's their org. Okay, good. Let's read this. The U.S. Space Force announced more than $13.5 billion in launch contracts Friday to SpaceX, United Alliance, which isn't that United Launch Alliance? Didn't they just launch a Jeff Bezos thing? And Blue Origin, which is Jeff Bezos, for missions that will fly between fiscal years 2027 and 2032. The awards are part of the service's National Security Space Launch Program, or NSSL, which it uses to acquire nearly all military launch missions. Under the deal, SpaceX will receive $5.9 billion to fly 28 missions, ULA $5.3 billion to launch 19, and Blue Origin $2.3 billion to conduct 7. That seems weird. Why are they all so weirdly priced? While ULA, I guess they're different jobs. I don't even know. While ULA and SpaceX are both NSSL incumbents, Blue Origin is a new entrant to the program. Come on in, Jeff Bezos. You got money, bitch. Come on in. Its new Glenn rocket. He named his rocket Glenn. Interesting. Has not yet completed the Space Force's certification process, but following its first flight in January, it became eligible to compete. Today's award culminates nearly 3 years of government and industry partnership to increase launch resiliency and capacity. Brigadier General Kristen Pansenhagen, program executive for Assured Access to Space, said in a statement. The result is assured access to space for our national security missions, which increases the military's readiness. Yes, but if you have Nazis actually running the spaceships, darling, what the fuck then? The Space Force expects to launch 84 missions between 2027 and 2032, nearly double the number of missions it launched in the previous 5 years. To meet that demand and create a path for more companies to compete, the service adopted a new strategy for its next batch of missions. Oh, it really opened it wide up so that Jeff Bezos could get in there. Oh, Jesus Christ. Lane 1 is for commercial-like missions and is geared toward new providers, and Lane 2, which was awarded Friday, is reserved for firms whose rockets meet more stringent security and performance requirements. SpaceX, ULA, and Blue Origin were also selected to compete for Lane 1 missions along with Stoke Space and Rocket Lab, which are both developing new rockets slated to fly this year. The service expects to release its first request for proposals for Lane 1 launches later this spring, and companies will have a chance to compete for additional missions in fiscal 2026. Stoke, that sounds like a bro company. Let's see. Rocket Lab and Stoke Space. Okay, With today's award, da 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 da. Well, what are who? Kristen's all over this. She's the Space Force queen. Is she the Space Force person? Is that it? No bids went out. No scope of work. Are you kidding me? Is that true? I mean, the providers selected have all been for late. Okay, wait. They're not saying anything about who they are. They're not saying anything about who they are. Interesting. Interesting. Na 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 na. This is the pew. Everybody into the pew. Everybody into the pew. All right, wait, I need to ask. I'll ask my mom where she got hers. Wait, what are we talking about? I mean, space stuff is important to counter Russia and China. Well, and just in general, I think, we have to have a space program. I understand that. What I don't understand is why our space program is helping not that it's not helping billionaires, because I think any space program is going to help billionaires, but why are we privatizing? Like that, it just seems really weird to me. I don't know. There's something it feels very unsafe to have him be our, those guys be in charge of something so important, like keeping the planet safe. Like, I don't want those teams involved in keeping the planet safe. Like, go work for NASA. Fuck, man. I don't know. It's just... All right, let's see. This is the Pew Research Center. Kind of a schlocky organization. Let's see what the losers at Pew are saying. Hey, wait, what's this going on? Oh, I see. It's that one. Okay, sorry. Wrong one. Wrong one. Do-do-do-do. Wrong place. Oh, wait, I can just do this. I'm so dumb. God, I'm dumb. Okay. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do. Wah, 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 wah. Here we go. This is the Pew Research Center. Pew, pew, pew. And they're smart. There's a bunch of smart people there. They like to do smart things. What are you finding cheap? We have a counterterrorism, has the Nazi German. Oh, yeah. Okay, listen. Let me tell you about Joe Kent. I got real mad at him a couple of years ago. I'll have to find those tweets. Anyway, I got mad at him. He got mad at me. It was a whole thing. But anyway, Joe Kent apparently is the head of counterterrorism, which is just hilarious. Because if you hear Joe Kent talk, he's a fucking idiot. He's legit a fucking idiot. Like, he talks like a stupid surfer dude, but he's not as cool as a surfer dude kind of thing. Do you get me? Yeah, he's bad. He's real bad. Anyway, he happens to have a Nazi, he has Panzer or some kind of Panzer tattoo on his arm. Like German Nazi tanks. It's just weird. Glengarry Glen Rocket. Exactly. Exactly. That's what we have. I need a company to clean space garbage. There you go. It's dirty. What's dirty? Texas Power Grid. Yes, privatizing. You're right, Jane. This is, okay, so that's really the thing. Actually, this thread too. I'm almost like a psychic. Uh-oh. Are you like a psychic? Are you like a psychic? Like a psychic girl. That Teal hosted a dinner with one of the most influential and vocal white nationalists in modern-day America, a man who called for the creation of a white ethno-state and played a key role to mainstream nationalism as the alt-right. When's this from? 2022. Peter Thiel met with the racist fringe as he went in. Oh, interesting. I'm going to have to read that. We're going to read that. God. Oh, Phil Waldron. Oh, my God. Oh, Rod Martin. Oh. I can't believe that these guys won. I really can't. I really can't believe they won. I just can't. Embedded in those? Oh, excellent. All right, we might spend some time on that. Let's see. Actually, let me just... God, this is good stuff. I just want to see what starts this. What is this? Is this what's this thread? He and some of the Vanguard project, which seeks to develop a state-of-the-art technology platform for driving and powering large-scale conservative activism. Some familiar leadership Vanguard project. God, you do have a lot of good links in here. Shit. The Bradley Foundation. God, it's all the same people. It is all the same people, gal. It's all of them. They're just still there. They're just like doing shit behind the scenes. Fuck. Fuck. I just want to go to the one that is here. Oh, this is Joe Kent. Joe Kent is a nutbag. He's a nutbag. It's always the same people. But you can just scroll down and see. Okay. Teal hosted a really bad thing. Yeah. Oh, wait. Here we go. Teal argued that American politics would always be hostile to free market ideals, and politics was about interfering with other people's lives without their consent. Since then, he has hosted and attended events with white nationalists and alt-right figures. BuzzFeed News. Okay, all right. I don't want to jump around too much because all right, let's stay with this for a minute. Sorry. It's my fault. I'm moving around too fast. Okay. And I haven't drunk enough coffee. Oop, car packed, condo empty. Firmly planted poolside for a few hours. There you go, darling. Well, I'll read to you until you fall asleep. All right. Americans give early Trump foreign policy actions mixed or negative reviews. What do you mean? What do you mean? America's great again. What do you mean? More Americans see the president favoring Russia too much than striking the right balance. You think? I'm sorry, Pew. I love you. President Donald Trump is pursuing a markedly different foreign policy strategy than former President Joe Biden. He has withdrawn the United States from international agreements, is working more closely with Russia to end the war in Ukraine, and has discussed taking over foreign territory and has imposed tariffs on trade partners. I mean, what else? Well, don't say that. More Americans disapprove than approve of ending USAID and leaving the World Health Organization Paris Climate Agreement. So ending most USAID programs. I'm sorry, it's hard for you to see this. Make it bigger. More Americans disapprove. Okay, so ending most USAID programs disapprove 45%. Leaving the Paris Climate Agreement, 46%. Leaving the World Health Organization, 52%. That's so interesting. I wonder why more people were worried about the WHO than the USAID. Do people really not understand what USAID does and how strict it is about its money? That's the funny thing. I feel like the grant programs like that, having been involved in USAID grants and shit like that, I think that is like the last place there's going to be waste. I mean, I'm sorry. Every fucking penny is accounted for. And the programs are evaluated. Because you can't even get a grant unless you have an evaluation plan. I mean, you just people don't understand how complicated it is to get a government grant. They're not easy to get. They're the hardest grants in my mind. And I wrote grants for 22 years, more, 35 years. So I wrote grants for a long time. I've done a lot of grant seeking in my life. And I can tell you right now, hands down, easy peasy, the government grants are the most complicated. Because you have to be, it's just very hard. Like there's plenty of organizations. If I was with a smaller organization, I never went for government grants because I didn't have the time to report on them because the reporting was so exhaustive. So I knew I couldn't support the actual grant management, so it wasn't worth going for the money. And it's so competitive, you probably won't get it for years. You have to keep trying. I mean, really, people, this is so ridiculous. I know you all know this, but it really strikes me that stupid people continue to say stupid things as if they know something, and they just don't. Like, stop. If you don't, I don't know about a lot of things. I can be convinced. Stop acting like you know what is right. It's so galling to me. It's galling. Grr. Anyway. Okay, so that Russian 43% say Trump is favoring Russia too much, which is true. But Americans are more divided about Israelis and Palestinians, which is interesting. Favoring Israelis too much, 31%. Striking the right balance, 29%. Favoring Palestinians too much, 3%. Not sure, 37%. Boy, have we done a terrible job of educating people about world situations. Wouldn't you think it would be important if you were, engaged with a partner and involved in conflict and things like that, and supporting their genocide? But other than that, if you were doing this, wouldn't part of your work be to help the American people understand why you're doing what you're doing? And that would leave not many people as not sure about how they feel about it. Like, this to me is a problem that very little useful information about the factors involved in this have been explained. Defending Hamas. Yeah, defending Hamas is not a choice. Yeah, I don't think they won either, Max, but at the same time, I can't point to any one area where there was definitive vote manipulation. There was certainly a lot of, as there was in 2016, kind of influence campaigns, and then the bomb. See, I think that the bomb threats at 40 primarily Democratic precincts is very underreported. And you know what's interesting? I'm just going to say this out loud because it always has bugged me. Remember in 2020 when we didn't know the results of the election on the night of the election? Do you remember that? We didn't know the results and we had to wait because they were counting, et cetera, right? Why did we know the results so fast in 2024? Why was it so easy to know the results on the night of the election in 2024 and it was challenging in 2020? I always wondered that. And I don't think there's any, I can't point to anything that would be conspiratorial about that. No evidence of what conspiracy would entail that. But I think it's so interesting. He won all the swing states. Was it though? I mean, I guess it was. Maybe that was it. I don't know. I guess I just felt like states didn't have their totals in 2020, but they had them real fast in 2024. And maybe that's just the way it was. Again, I can totally be like, facts can convince me of things. I just don't have all the facts. And then the bomb threats, that's kind of less, I mean, it's not as tangible in terms of what did it do to dissuade, what did it do to disrupt. So that's why I don't go on and on about the election of 2024, because I don't have enough specific information. And I went through enough with looking at the data for the 2020 boondoggle that I kind of feel like I know what I'm looking for at this point. And I just didn't see it. I mean, I think there was a lot of malign intent. But I didn't really see all the same things. But I did wonder about the timing. But you're right, Jay. It's probably because he just kind of had the, he had the thing. He had the swing states. So that makes sense. I'm not fussy about it. But I do, it did kind of bother me. Okay. Well, savings time. Oh my God.
Lighting and heating. This concept might have made sense in the early 20th century.
Oh my God, I made him too big.
Our economy and our homes relied much more heavily on energy consumption.
I made him too big. I know you can hear Wolverine. Walmart Wolverine is talking. Hold on.
Daylight savings time are de minimis, if not entirely non-existent. Advances in technology, particularly in lighting and climate control, and increased domestic energy production.
I'm coming.
Have drastically reduced the relative price of energy.
Don't be too excited to get to Wolverine.
Changing clocks biannually.
I think the truth is coming out, but
research has shown that the abrupt shift in time, especially the spring transition, when we lose an hour of sleep,
There was massive voter
disrupts our
suppression.
internal circadian rhythms and
I
causes
still
sleep
want to know why the
deprivation.
people didn't vote. There's a
This
big
leads
group
to
of people that
increased
didn't vote. I'm
risks
kind of
of health
curious about
problems,
that. What was really
including
behind that?
higher rates of heart
I
attacks,
mean, it could have been the
strokes, and
non-committed. It
even
could have been
car
all those
accidents
things. I just don't
immediately
know that.
following the
Again,
time
data.
change. In fact, studies have shown that there is a spike in workplace injuries and
De
fatal
minimis.
car crashes during the days after we shift our clocks forward. The disruption to sleep patterns and the resultant fatigue can have consequences on our
You're
productivity,
tired.
mental health, and well-being.
You're eepy.
Time change
Don't be eepy.
is also an inconvenience for families.
I'm sorry.
For parents, especially those with young children, adjusting to the time change is no simple task. Sleep disruptions
This has
can
to feel
result in
foolish.
cranky children,
Can this feel
restless
foolish?
nights, and a
Circadian
difficult
rhythm, Cruz
adjustment
says,
period
because
that
he's
can last
filled
for
with
weeks.
insects.
We also need to consider the economic and social
Snowpiercer.
impact. There are arguments that longer daylight hours in the evening can boost economic activity in certain sectors, such as retail,
Yeah.
tourism, and entertainment.
I'm a morning person too.
For
butterflies.
instance, late afternoon golf leagues account for up to 40% of the annual
I'm
revenue
sorry.
of some courses, while a majority of golf instructors reported that nearly 50% of their lessons are
Did you
taught
see the
after
warning from
4
Hillary
p.m.
Clinton coming for women whose
A
last
golf
name
course
yes.
would lose an estimated $500,000 annually if it lost the extra hour of daylight in the summer.
God.
Of course, the early birds who like 7 a.m.
Yeah,
tea times
Biden and
might
Harris
be a bit
are
annoyed
worse
with
for
this shift.
Palestine.
Many states and countries
Yeah, how's
like
that going
Mexico
now?
and Russia and Turkey
How's that going?
have already taken steps to move away from changing clocks twice a year. Hawaii and Arizona have opted out of the practice, and other countries in the past 10 years have either abolished it or are in the process of doing so.
I got
Congress
divorced
has
in
the authority to
1994.
end this outdated and harmful practice. This hearing is an excellent
And I
opportunity
just
to
got my
examine
Social
a
Security
thoughtful
changed back
and
to my
rational
maiden
approach
name.
to how we
I
manage
never
time.
change your name, women.
Whether
never.
we lock the clock on
I don't care how much you love him.
time
Never.
year-round or on daylight savings time, let's think carefully about our health, our economy, and
Golf tea
well-being,
times.
and embrace a
He's
sensible
justifying
approach
it using
to
golf.
time management. And I'll now turn to Senator Blunt
People
Rochester
are
for her
losing their
opening.
entire retirement portfolios.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for holding this
I love her.
important hearing. In our increasingly connected world, it's more important than ever that we're thoughtful about what it would mean to pick a permanent time for our country. The Senate has tried this before, but the bill stalled as this body took a harder look at how time changes work state by state.
Name changes.
What works in my home state of
There's
Delaware
another
may not
boondoggle
work in
that
Washington
men put
state.
on us.
But I know I speak for many Americans when I say it's time to figure this out. People across our country are tired of the constant cycle of falling back and springing forward. I mean, who hasn't forgotten to change their clock on their microwave? I think mine is still on the wrong time. And felt the immediate panic of waking up late for work. Or think about the parents of young children and pet owners who have to
This is
adjust
embarrassing.
sleep
I'm
and
sorry.
feeding schedules twice a year. Some would say that these are just inconveniences.
They are.
But
I'm
the
sorry.
back and forth
This is
between
terrible.
daylight savings time and standard time needs to change and needs to stop. We need to
I'm sorry.
stop the
I
clock.
just don't see the
We need to
point.
find a
I'm gonna look for
solution
something
and
else.
stick
Hold on.
with it. Many states across our nation have started to consider legislation to pick a
On the other
permanent
hand,
time.
there are 2 weeks
Some,
a
like
year
Delaware, have pushed
that
for
morning
keeping
is
daylight
available to
saving
me.
time, the time we're in right now, permanently. Others have sought to keep the
let's see
standard
here.
time when we fall back permanently. But here's the thing. These twice yearly time changes have real impacts on real people. We know that changing the clock disrupts sleep, which can lead to negative health outcomes. Several studies have noted issues with mood disturbances, increased hospital admissions, and even heart attacks and strokes. We also know that being able to see the sun improves mental and physical health as well. But more than that, time changes can impact the safety of our communities. Darker commuting times increase the risk of injuries and even death on our way to school or work. My home state has one of the highest per capita rates of pedestrian fatalities, and dark roads with tired drivers make it more dangerous for pedestrians. The important thing is that we land on something consistent and make smart investments to keep people safe. For example, there were programs that we authorized in the bipartisan infrastructure law that focused on common sense safety improvements, but they are set to expire this Congress. I hope the committee will keep this discussion in mind when it comes time to reauthorize these infrastructure investments. Investments that could keep light that could light up dark streets, add rumble strips to medians, turn chaotic intersections into roundabouts, and more. These are the kinds of smart policy choices we can make to protect people year-round, regardless of whether it is daylight saving time or standard time. But the first step is getting us all on the same page. I'm looking forward to today's conversation about the competing health, safety, and economic impacts of choosing a permanent time for our communities and moving the ball forward on this important issue. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I turn it back to you.
Thank you, Senator Blunt Rochester. And I have to say, I think you've set a land speed record for moving from the chair on the end all the way here. And I'll just say Senator Cantwell probably needs to watch her back. And I am somewhat disappointed in your excellent remarks that we did not get you belting out the chorus of shares if we could turn back time.
I told you, it is something that peps us up. We need the energy.
Joining us today is our friend Senator Rick Scott from the Sunshine State to give remarks on his legislation, the Sunshine Protection Act. Senator Scott, welcome back to the Commerce Committee.
First off, Senator Cruz, thank you for the opportunity, and Senator Blunt Rochester, you've done a better job keeping your seat in this committee also than I was able to. Thanks for the introduction. The invitation introduced my bill, the Sunshine Protection Act.
Is he drunk?
Lock the clock. Senator Cruz, I know you're mourning.
Are you drunk?
It's been a tough week for you with the NCAA championship. I do look forward to the
Your time has expired.
That's kind of funny.
All right. My bipartisan bicameral Sunshine Protection Act. It will end the twice-yearly time change and make daylight savings time the national year-round standard. I have the support of 17 of my colleagues here in the Senate and a House companion led by my friend Congressman Vern Buchanan from the great state of Florida. I'm sure all of us have heard from our constituents on this. The American people are sick and tired of changing their clocks twice a year. It's confusing, unnecessary, and completely outdated. It's an understatement to say that our nation has changed since the United States began changing the clock over a century ago. For example, American households have electricity now. We also have self-driving cars, computers, and cell phones. Now, changing the clocks twice a year proves more of an annoyance to families than a benefit to them. In 2018, when I was governor of Florida, I signed legislation that would allow the state to opt out of the practice of changing the time. And nearly 24 other states have done the same, pending federal approval that will come by passing the Sunshine Protection Act. The American people love having an extra hour of sunlight, especially in my state of Florida, where that means more time you can enjoy outdoors and activities with families. Studies also show the potential for reduced cardiac issues, stroke, and seasonal depression. Reduced robberies, benefits to the agricultural and overall economy with an extra hour of sunlight. This is a common sense change to simplify and benefit the lives of Americans.
Is that what it is?
And we have a great opportunity to finally get this done with President Trump on board to lock the clock.
Mr. Scott, is that what it is?
I want to thank the committee for the consideration of the Sunshine Protection Act. I'm optimistic we can get this passed.
You are fucking drunk is what you are, bitch.
Thank you, Senator Scott. You are welcome to stay if you like, but I know you have a busy schedule, so if you need to attend to other responsibilities, you certainly can do so.
Oh, thank you. Third shift wellness.
And the game was great, except for the final minute.
Okay,
I would have liked to lock the clock with 1 minute remaining. That would have been an excellent idea. Our first witness this morning is Scott Yates, the founder of the Lock the Clock movement. Mr. Yates started the movement to remove the biannual chore of changing the clock. Our second witness is Jay Karen. He is the CEO of the National Golf Course Owners Association, where he represents thousands of golf course owners across the country. Our third witness today is Dr. Karen Johnson,
Sorry.
a practicing sleep medicine physician
Okay,
and
I don't know
professor
if I can do
urology
this. I'm going to be
at
honest.
the University of Massachusetts
I'm gonna be
Chan
honest.
School of
I don't think I
Medicine,
can
Bay
do this.
State. She is here on behalf of the
I can't do this. I can't listen to Wolverine fucking do his shit. I have a bunch of clips that I'd like to show you, and then we'll read some stuff, but I can't. I can't. Oh, actually, I kind of wanted to watch this, although I think you guys, I'm not sure if you're going to want to watch it. Hold on. Let me just show you what I've got here. Let me show you what I've got. Let me show you what I've got here. Let me show you what I got here. Yeah. I forgot it was. Oh, so here's the other thing. I think people should check their reps schedule for this next few days as the reps are home. And if you have a chance, maybe stop by your rep's office and say, hey, motherfucker. Yeah, see if your rep is having a town hall or something, or see if your rep is doing anything on this mini break that they have. Let's use our time while they're home to fuck them up. What do you think? What do you think? You in? All right. Let's see. I just don't know where I'm gonna go with it. I think I want to take this. I think I want to take this over here. And I think I want to take it over there. I'm coming down. Dee-dee-doo-dee-doo. I know, this is on my shit. Okay. Let's see. This is the first one. Why did Donald Trump, let's see, U.S. Commerce is terrible. Oh, I kind of wanted to see this. How long is that? Oh, it's only a minute. Peter Navarro, I think I already looked at that. Oh. This is what I wanted. Oh, no, that's for tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm doing the Mar-a-Lago Accord stuff, and I've got a lot of Stephen Mirren quotes that I want to play tomorrow morning. Please hack the GOP. Yeah, Carla, come on. Oh my God, I got Gruters and Stubbe mixed up earlier. It was Stubbe who said that to Johnson. Oh, well, that's very easy to do. My state rep is having coffee hour on Saturday. I'll be asking about the new private prison in Debbie Dingle, in Michigan. Debbie Dingle is always out and about when she's home, so I'll definitely be at one of her stops. That's so cool, Lee. Whoop, whoop, whoop. That's right, Lee. I'm doing a whole thing on Moran for you, baby. That's right. I'm going to do a whole thing. I've got a bunch of clips. We're going to read the Mar-a-Lago Accord. We're actually going to read it-ish. We're going to find out what the fuck is in these guys' brains and just have fun with it. But let's go ahead and just go through some of my clips because I want to get high.
Global stocks have rallied after a sudden tariff turnaround by Donald Trump. The US president is suspending reciprocal tariffs on most nations for 90 days, China being the notable exception, with its imports hiked to 125%. News of the pause unleashed a tsunami of green as shares on the Dow Jones Index ended 7% higher. Asian shares have surged too, with Japan's Nikkei jumping more than 8% in morning trading. Markets had feared an escalating global trade war before Trump suddenly backtracked on most of the sweeping tariffs. Here's the US president explaining his sudden decision.
You have to have flexibility. I could say, here's a wall, and I'm going to go through that wall. I'm going to go through it no matter what, and keep going, and you can't go through the wall. Sometimes you have to be able to go under the wall, around the wall, or over the wall. I think in financial
How do you go under the wall?
Because they changed. Look how much it changed today. We went
How
from,
much it changed today?
Pretty moderate today, but over the last few days it looked pretty glum to, I guess they say it was the biggest day in financial history. That's a pretty big change. And I think the word would be flexible. You have to be flexible.
He thinks it's so great.
Well, it was the raised levies from China of 84% and Beijing's clear statement that it would not back down, which inspired Trump to single China out. Here's more.
The tit-for-tat tariff dispute continues without pause between the world's two largest economies.
As you all know, the president just put out a statement announcing an additional tariff on China. The tariff on China will now go up to 125% because China imprudently decided to retaliate against the United States. And as I said at the podium yesterday, when you punch at the United States of America, President Trump is going to punch back harder.
On Truth Social, Trump said the new measure was, quote, based on the lack of respect that China has shown to the world's markets. It comes after Beijing said it was imposing an 84% tariff on U.S. goods in retaliation and vowed to, quote, fight to the end in an escalating trade battle with Trump. The U.S. insists that the tariffs are necessary to revive its manufacturing and maintains that the blame for the escalation lies on Beijing.
Well, I'm not calling it a trade war, but I'm saying that China has escalated, and President Trump responded very courageously to that, and we are going to work on a solution with our trading partners.
Beijing says the U.S. is making a mistake and that it has filed a complaint to the Geneva-based World Trade Organization over the measures.
Oh,
The
yes,
Chinese
we have
people
that.
cannot be
Where
denied
is
their
it, Pete?
legitimate right
Where's
to
my
development,
co-host?
and China's sovereignty, security, and development interests must not be infringed upon.
Where'd my
We will
co-host
continue to
go?
take strong measures to safeguard our
dropped
legitimate
it.
rights and interests.
The World Trade Organization has warned that rising tensions
there he is.
between the U.S. and China could
He's
see
drinking again.
bilateral trade plummet by as much as
drunk again.
80%, and that the conflict could damage the global economic outlook.
You rang?
Well, earlier, our correspondent
Neil?
Melissa Chan in Taipei told us
Neil?
more about Beijing's reaction on Trump's decision to pause
Did you
all
want to
higher
see
tariffs,
me?
except, of course, those on China.
Beijing is not
IGP.
surprised. They were slapped with tariffs during Trump's
you guys
first
doing
presidency.
today?
So over the past
Happy to
few
see
years,
you.
China has been preparing a toolkit for the eventuality if they have to deal with a second Trump term. So going into January of this year, the Chinese were prepared. And so this is not a big shock for them. But it is very interesting because for a while we weren't quite sure what the Trump 2 administration would do in terms of its approach to China. There were some early indications that President Trump was actually going to go soft on China this time around.
That's
A
not
great
true.
example is TikTok. He had talked about banning it during the first
Yes,
term,
he says
but he's
a lot of
punting
things.
that
He actually
issue.
doesn't
And
understand
the other
or mean any of
consideration
them.
to make is, of course, his governing partner, Elon Musk, has a lot of investment
What?
in China, from Tesla factories to the sale
That's the
of those
problem.
vehicles to
We've
Chinese
got a guy
consumers.
in the,
How would
government
that
who doesn't
impact
really
the
belong
U.S.
there.
administration's approach to China?
just
But
one
we
problem
have
we
our
have.
answer, at least on tariffs, and Beijing is ready.
Okay.
Okay, and any indications on how China might
There he is.
might react to this?
He'll be back.
Well, China is playing a
Baby
tough
dino.
line, and it has a new data point that we've learned over the last few hours, which
Baby
is that
dino.
President
Dino
Donald Trump
Jr.
folded pretty fast when it was the United States against the rest of the world. And now it is very much America alone. Even last year, if the United States was going to take a tough position on China, it could rely on allies in Asia, such as South Korea or Japan. But South Korea and Japan have been left scrambling over this past week as well. Where will they stand on the matter? Will they stand with the United States against China? In this current scenario, I think it's very
I hope
unlikely.
they don't.
And about 30 seconds left,
It's
Melissa.
very
Any
unlikely, she
opportunities
said.
for
Oh,
China
interesting.
here?
I hope they don't.
Absolutely. I mean, the rest of the world can trade with themselves. I mean, there are a lot of, like I mentioned, South Korea, Japan, but
A lot of people
India,
in the
ASEAN,
world,
Europe.
other than our
these are all
country.
countries with a big middle class and a lot of manufacturing. And that is a real possibility that we're looking at.
DW
Wow.
correspondent Melissa Chan in Taipei, thanks so much for that.
That's a lovely green top.
And business
Melissa.
journalist Akin Oyedele gave us some more analysis as well. And I asked him if Trump's surprise move on tariffs was part of a bigger strategy or if it was forced upon him by the markets.
Well, the reporting that I'm seeing today indicates that the administration's hand was forced. Particularly today, we saw for the first time since this saga began, the bond market really began to react in a negative way. Now, of course, the stock market had sold off leading up to today, but today we saw the bond market and the dollar weaken. And those two markets are typically places where investors flock to for safety in times of crises. So that reportedly rattled the administration and the Treasury Department to the point where they made the decision today to put the 90-day pause on. But of course, if we're taking the administration's point of view, this was all part of a grand plan. But we do know that they had been watching the markets and had been getting lots of calls from executives and from people in the Republican side of the aisle who were really concerned about the impact that this was having.
Yeah, and markets did.
What if? Okay, hear me out. You're not going to believe me, and I don't believe me either. What if, because I'm always sitting here in the last week, I'm really asking myself, gosh, what did the donors think? Did the donors think this is okay? Like, are they okay with this? And I know, like, who was it? Koch and somebody else filed a suit against the administration. What is that? Koch? And who the fuck else? Koch suit. Let me just see what that's all about. Oh, yeah, Leonard Leo. So, right-wing group backed by Koch and Leo sues to stop Trump tariffs. New Civil Liberties Alliance says president's invocation of emergency powers to impose tariffs is unlawful. A libertarian group that has been funded by Leonard Leo and Charles Koch has mounted a legal challenge against Donald Trump's tariff regime in a sign of spreading right-wing opposition to a policy, blah, blah, blah. So here's what can I just conjecture for a moment, if you'll indulge me? In my mind, as I draw the stories out, because I think of things in terms of stories, what's the story? And that's just the way I think about it. I'm not saying that this is true or not. But I do kind of wonder, how before the election, I know that some of us had conversations about the fact that Trump would not be allowed to serve out his full term, that there would be some mechanism to remove him from and put in someone who is more intelligent and less more controllable, right? Like a JD Vance, who has still kind of, been, in my mind, what JD Vance has been doing the last year is really making himself as Trump-like as possible in mannerisms, so that he can keep that base. So I believe this kind of like asshole that JD Vance portrays a lot of the time is kind of like a little bit of acting. I mean, he is an asshole, but there's a little bit of acting to be like super spicy on his part. And I think it's because they needed him to be accepted by the base. Because I wonder, a la Leonard Leo and Koch and, Jamie Dimon and whatever. I don't know what Peter Thiel's thinking these days, but whatever. I wonder if... How do I say this? I wonder if it gives them a good enough reason to say, we got to swap him out. We got a 25 amendment. You know what I mean? Does it feel a little weird? Like, why isn't anyone stopping him from doing actual damage? And I understand that at the end of the day, that means that damage is beneficial economically to someone, right? That's what I think. I always look at, if he's doing something, who benefits from what he's doing? And I just think it's odd that this kind of that this donor class wouldn't be I mean, I'm both surprised that they're doing things like filing suits, and I'm surprised that they aren't saying that they aren't that they're going along with it. You know what I mean? Like, both things are kind of shocking to me because I feel on some level there are definitely very powerful people who could stop it immediately, but they just choose not to. And it might be to set him up. I don't know. And this is my thing, because I don't know. I understand he's good for business, but I think only to a certain point, a la where we find ourselves now, where he's doing damage to the rich people, and they're getting mad. So I think it's kind of I don't know. There's something really odd about the mix these days, I guess. I'm so curious to get in hear what Peter Thiel is thinking and what moves is he making. And I use him as kind of like the representative of that stupid donor / philosophical class. I just find it interesting. Anyway, we'll go on. Thank you for indulging me.
Rally after this back down was announced. How much more turbulence do you expect there'll be going forward, or is it now all over?
Yeah, they are fighting each other.
I think it's far from over. Although I wish I could tell you in which direction, up or down, the market's turbulence would be. The two largest economies in the world are still in a trade war. So let's not lose sight of that, even though the rest of the world has been spared for now. We do know that a lot of American companies rely on China for a lot of their supplies, and there's still a lot of uncertainty about what this all means for them. Consumers may also be feeling uncertain at the moment, wondering whether the next iPhone or the next Nintendo Switch will cost many hundreds of dollars more than they do right now. So there's.
Can I also say another thing? I'm so sorry to interrupt this gentleman, but can I also say that what was I going to say? It was something about the iPhones and stuff like that. Oh, wait. No, never mind. It went away.
Still a lot of uncertainty, and as we've seen in the last couple of days, things can change very quickly.
Isn't this a great news show?
I would not
I love this
unfurl
news
the
show.
mission accomplished banner as of yet.
Just finally, how ready do you think the rest of the world is now to work with Trump on trade in the way that he wants? Or how ready do you think the rest of the world should get?
Well, as your previous guest was saying, the rest of the world can trade with each other. And that's part of the concern among some economists in the US, is that China now becomes a more appealing trading partner for a lot of countries and companies that would otherwise have played ball with the US. But, I think it's still too soon to see just how effective these conversations between the US and other countries are, especially because we know there's a lot of volatility in the approach that this administration is taking. And so it's hard to see how much or which concessions individual countries make. We also know that there was a bit of a
believe me, JD
mechanism to how the
trash.
tariffs are slapped on various countries, and so it's really hard to tell whether countries will play ball. But we do know that they will at least pick up the phone and talk to the White House, and they should, because this is the world's largest economy after all.
Thanks so much for that, Akin. That's Akin Oyedele from Business Insider. Thank you very much.
Chuck Schwab did that? Chuck Schwab did that? Oh, shit. That's not what I wanted to do. That's so upsetting. Chuck Schwab did that? I used to work for Chuck. I hate that he is such a fucking... I remember where he really... I worked with Chuck Schwab in the 80s in San Francisco. And when we were a small company, when we didn't have branches... we didn't have branches. I started really almost in the beginning of when Charles Schwab started. And I used to handle, at one point in my career, I handled executive complaints because there was no centralized complaint department. And so I started it. It was called the Chairman's Division. And I would work with the executives on big complaints and things like that, and resolve issues for customers and stuff like that. So I spent a couple of years just handling customer complaints. And I more than once I met with Chuck himself because he wanted to, he had seen a couple of letters that customers wrote in, and I recall Chuck as being a really decent human. And he actually, he was like in the trading room, and he would, like he was very much into his customers and making a great brokerage firm. And he's a fucking capitalist. I get that, right? He's a fucking capitalist. I understand. But I just recall him as such a warm human. And he cared so much. Like, I remember there was one really thorny customer situation, and I just remember him, saying, "Oh," or having me come up to the his executive offices and talk to him about it, because he was really, it had struck him. And I just remember he cared very much about making customers whole. Like, he cared very much about it. He was obviously a businessman, but he did seem to care. And I watched as over the years, his tendencies to be an asshole of from a political standpoint kind of emerged. But he was, our company was very open with supporting LGBTQ. It was a very socially forward-looking company at the time. And I'm just so terribly disappointed. And I understand he's a rich man, and rich people, are into self-preservation more than they are into anything else. And obviously he has his own political views, but man, it really made me sad. And it really makes me sad. And that this particularly makes me sad, because that's not just a silent, that's just a silent, if he were in the background and just doing it, maybe Charles Schwab, the head of the brokerage firm. I guess he appeared with Trump last night, and that just really makes me sad. That just really makes me sad. So Chuck Schwab, you're not watching, and you don't remember me, but I remember you. And God damn it, you cared about humans more, and you need to prove it. And I can't tag you in anything because I know you don't look at social media, but damn it. Where's your daughter? I can't remember her name, but Danielle or something like that. She worked at the company after he did. All right. Anyway, whatever. What do I care? Yeah, self-preservation is the name of the game. Let's see. I'm so sorry. The House passed a measure that no one can stop Trump tariffs for the next 6 months. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Is that even legal? Is that even legal? Karen, what do you have that you're dropping? Wait, hold on. I've got to read all this. Okay. Not all the rich people are in on the take. I think you're right. I think not all the rich people are in on the take. It just surprises me. JD Vance, yes, he called Chinese citizens peasants because he is an idiot. Duffy calls for painting of Jesus to be displayed at administration building of Merchant Marine Academy related. I can't get Oom's Christianity song out of my head. What's your Christianity song? What's GTOM? What's that? Justin Wolfers, economist, pointed out that the U.S. accounts for 10% of total global trade. Cutting ourselves off is not a good idea. 5 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock at night. I don't know what song that is. In the painting, Jesus is a strawberry blonde and a giant. A giant. Karen, what are you dropping in Discord? Because I think I missed it. Oh, wait, here we go. Yeah. Oh, is it about last night? Yeah, Charles Schwab. Guess who will decide whether it is legal? Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. How is this worse than we thought? How is this worse than we thought? How the fuck does it worse than we thought? How? How is that possible? How is that possible? Oh, shit. Oh, man. Ruth Ben-Ghiat. We love you, Ruth. The S&P 500 since this is a dynamic right onto my book. Oh, good. Let's read this. Let's read this. Is that me? Oh, that was. Oh, whoops. Sorry. Oh, God. I'm all making a mess. Okay. Oh, my God. We got some good stuff. How did we have a failure of imagination? I know, Jane. I painted, I thought, a pretty bleak picture for myself. I wonder how's my picture? I can't find Margot Martin, who was supposedly works in the White House. Only people saying she was the original poster of the Charles Schwab video. Interesting. GP, I dropped some stuff in Discord that everyone should try to ignore, unless you love kitty and bunny gifs. I do. It's the it's the Price is Right game where the guy falls off the cliff. Do 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 boo. Oh wait, we had a guy like that. Wait, where's our little guy? Well, we have this guy. Oh, this guy can do it. Oh wait, we can do let's see here. Whose head can we? Well, we'll do the apple head. La 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 whoopsie la 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 wah. Some fun. A UK edition of Saturday Night Live is premiering in 2026. Sky Studio says the show will feature a core cast of the funniest British comedians around. Hell yeah, I'm in. That sounds funny. All right, I want to read this Substack. I know we're jumping all over the place. I'm so sorry. I love you guys so much. Please stay with me. Don't leave me. Welcome to Autocratic Backfire. This is good. This is perfect timing because we are at the point where we're like, what's happening right now? We're like, what exactly is happening right now? Where is that? Where's my what's happening? Oh, there it is. What's happening right now? This segment of the show is called What the fuck is happening right now? What is it? I can't wait. That sounds great. All right. Welcome to Autocratic Backfire. Imposing their will on the nation and the world is what matters to strong men. I'm at the punch. Yes, Jane. Samesies. Imposing their will on the nation and the world is what matters to strong men, but destructive policies made in an echo chamber have consequences. Oh, they do. Wait, whoa. What happened? What happened? Thank you. What? Okay. Sorry about that, everybody. My God. All right. Here we go. Hey, high production value. That's what you come for. I know it is. All right. La 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 la. La 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 la. Welcome back. Hello to all new. Our next Q&A will take place on Friday from 1 to 2. Our guest will be Jake Auchincloss. Oh, I see. Okay. Is this the story? Okay. Here we go. Many people are now waking up each day and opening news apps with trepidation, thinking, now what? What crazy and upsetting thing will this Trump administration do today? This is not surprising. President Donald Trump, unelected co-leader Elon Musk, and his cabinet of fanatics have brought new levels of instability and chaos to American governance and the world. America is living through a compressed arc of the process of autocratic capture. And now, with President Trump's inane tariffs tanking the economy, the process of autocratic backfire as well. Autocratic capture describes the executive branch's attempts to control and politicize the judiciary, the media, and government institutions, turning them into tools of the leader and his cronies. Autocratic backfire occurs when narcissistic leaders have insulated themselves from criticism by surrounding themselves with sycophants and loyalists, like Mrs. Beasley and Mr. Ron Vera. No one will tell them the truth, and religious collaborators tell them they are in office by divine will. And so they also end up believing their own propaganda about their invincibility, genius instincts, and infallibility. Then the stage is set for them to make momentous decisions on the basis of erroneous beliefs or personal ideological obsessions. Normally, the cycle of leaders amassing power and creating an echo chamber that leads to faulty policy takes years to develop, but America has accelerated this cycle. In less than 90 days, we have experienced what in other countries has evolved over several years. The scale and speed of change in America has no parallel in the early years of the governments of autocrats who came to power via elections, such as Vladimir Putin or Recep Tayyip Erdogan. At the administrative and institutional level, what we are experiencing resembles the aftermath of a coup, in which drastic changes to the state and its personnel are executed quickly, and the autocratic aggressors avail themselves of the element of surprise to destabilize and disorient the opposition and the population. The Trump-Musk Sabotage America syndicate has operated at a dizzying pace to wreck government as we knew it and remake it into a power consolidation, personal enrichment, and foreign autocratic empowerment vehicle. To thoroughly kneecap the ingenuity, well-being, and productivity of America as a democratic nation and isolate the nation from beneficial circuits of knowledge exchange, they have paralyzed medical, scientific, environmental, and other research by pulling federal funding, dismantled public health systems to create the conditions for mass outbreaks of disease, gone after universities and imprisoned foreign students, rolled back national defenses against malign foreign influence and cybercrime, and fired competent people who don't fit the MAGA vision of America as an autocratic white patriarchal power. In February, I forecast that the magnitude of chaos and corruption would eventually cause a reckoning with Trumpism in America. The unexpectedly robust popular participation in more than 1,300 hands-off protests held on April 5th, together with negative business and financial community reactions to the disastrous tariffs, suggests that disenchantment with MAGA is already growing. Mussolini is always right, was the slogan in fascist Italy, but Mussolini ended up being very wrong because, like other autocrats, he was able to act on his worst impulses, such as initiating capricious or ill-timed military engagements that could not be sustained and which bankrupted the economy. Hey, those Putin and Erdogan guys will win all the midterms. Yeah, see? Yet, in Italy and Nazi Germany, it took being bombed by the Allies in World War II to start the disintegration of the personality cults and the emergence of the population from the cocoon of propaganda. The Führer was sent to us from God, though not in order to save Germany, but to ruin it, said a German woman, formerly an admirer of Adolf Hitler, from her bomb shelter in 1944. Autocratic backfire often results in military or economic disasters, and authoritarian history is full of policies and projects championed by the ruler out of hubris and megalomania and implemented to disastrous effect. Mobutu Sese Seko caused a debt crisis with his kleptocracy and massive projects for the Congo River. Idi Amin ordered the deportation of the entire Asian community in Uganda in 1972. This community was the backbone of commerce and business in Uganda, and soon Amin had to invite them back to stave off the business and financial disasters wrought by his decision. The deleterious consequences of Erdonomics in Turkey are a more recent example. Both Mobutu and Amin ended up fleeing into exile, but the consequences for the autocrat depend on how entrenched he is, the strength of any remaining democratic opposition, the existence of media outlets able to tell the truth about the outcomes of his policies, and the robustness of his personality cult. The other element causing autocratic backfire is the lack of planning and the capricious way these bad policies are often implemented. Strongmen specialize in doing unexpected things, and because they are accountable to no one, they also have made unpredictability and upheaval a feature rather than a bug of their mode of governance. As related by the political scientist Mansour El-Kikia in his book Libya's Gaddafi, sorry, I don't know how to say his name, The Politics of Contradiction, The Libyan tyrant took chaos to an extreme, repealing entire legal frameworks of the Libyan state from one day to the next. Hi, Peace Love. How are you, darling? I thought Iggy was Clay for a while. I know, we're really good. Well, actually, I'm not, because I have no socks. I have one sock and it has my name in it. I mean, come on. That's not a sock. So I'm not really good on the alt stuff. While President Trump does not lead a one-party dictatorship, today you don't need to suppress other parties to exercise authoritarian governance. In his temperament and attitudes, he is in the tradition of leaders past and present who have ideas of grandeur, think that they have the answer to complicated problems, and in a sense lose touch with reality. In the words of Amin's personal physician, Dr. David Barkham. This is one of the many reasons Trump is a protagonist of my book Strongmen, and we should never forget how chaotic and destructive Trump's first term was, and how many warnings we had from informed people about his dangerous methods and character. In August 2016, before Trump even took office, former CIA head Michael Morrell published a New York Times op-ed which listed these habits and qualities as making Trump unfit for office. His tendency to make decisions based on intuition, his refusal to change his views based on new information, his routine carelessness with the facts, his unwillingness to listen to others, and lack of respect for the rule of law. These exact qualities are how we arrived at the tariffs, which economist Lawrence Summers has termed masochistic for their wipeout of a robust economy. For weeks, I had worried about that the extraordinary empowerment of President Trump was leading him into a dangerous state of mind, a state autocrats normally reach only after years in power. The high-profile capitulation of law firms, universities, media companies, and other elite sectors, the ease with which his collaborator Musk has been able to capture the data and financial systems of a superpower, and Trump knowing that he has immunity for official acts courtesy of the Supreme Court, have left him feeling omnipotent and also infallible. This is when authoritarians do risky and idiotic things, such as threatening to take control of Greenland one way or another, menacing Canada, a major trade partner, or engaging in a nonsensical economic policy measures on a grand and grandiose scale. Trump's insistence on barreling forward with the tariffs, despite warnings from many economists that they could inflict huge harm to the American and global economy and to world trade, is another example of how autocratic intransigence and unwillingness to listen to others create real-world misery that has political consequences in the long run. Well, that's not the way it's supposed to go. Yet, for the strong man, safe in his bubble of narcissistic willfulness and fantasy, being able to impose his unorthodox and highly personal policies on the world is what matters. When Trump writes that tariffs are a, quote, beautiful thing to behold, I hear his satisfaction at forcing dozens of foreign countries to experience his power. But I also hear the sound of another case study of autocratic backfire in the making. While the form it will take and the timing are uncertain, if history is any guide, a reckoning will come. Yeah, autocratic intransigence. That's a good one. Thank you, Gal. Let's see. This is the one that I want to read now. All right. This, make sure it shows proper. There's a little fucked Financial Friday preview here. You're getting a sneak preview. I'm kidding. Oops. La 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 la. Ooh. Oh. Okay. Hold on. Let me just check this. Let me check this link. Let me check. The Trump administration asked the justices this afternoon to block orders by a pair of federal judges that instructed the government to allow board members. Oh, yes. That's right. Isn't that the National Labor Relations Board? Is that the board that they're talking about? So orders to reinstate agency heads on hold as court considers Trump's appeal. Is that the yes, it's Maya Rudolph's mom. You know, Bobo actually has a better voice than I do. And she has much more high, she has different octave ranges. And we were singing that song yesterday, and she can hit that high note that Minnie Riperton hit. And we were talking about Minnie Riperton and how much we love her. So anyway, that's just a little side thing. We just had a little mini conversation about Minnie Riperton. Okay, I want to read this Dethrone. Oh my God, Bobo is so fucking. She's a really amazing singer, and she will never sing. She will never perform. She's not a performer. She doesn't want to. She does not want to have anything to do with that, which is unfortunate because she's a far better singer than I am. I mean, not that I'm a good singer, but you know what I mean? She's just like a really good singer. Her voice is her pitch is really good, and she has far more octave range than I do. So anyway, we used to sing in community choruses and stuff. So she's been singing for a while, but she's just not a performer. She's not in front of the camera kind of person or whatever. She didn't really like that, but she likes to sing. Okay. Now, this is from Foreign Affairs, how Trump can dethrone the dollar. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't totally understand economics when it comes to, dollar, money policy or whatever. What is that? Monetary policy and things like that. I don't really understand that. I mean, maybe I could get her to record a song. I would love to do more with her. We had a dream of doing a podcast together. And, yeah. Amazing. Yeah, she's Maya Rudolph's mom. My sisters make fun of my singing. It's pretty bad. I love that everybody sings, though. I think everyone should sing. I don't care if you think you can sing, you don't think you can sing. Just sing anyway. Good morning, Oren. How are you, darling? Is that how I do that? Yeah. Okay. All right. Here we go. We're going to read a little bit about the dollar. My sister can relate to Bobo. Hi, Val, darling. I often said if I had Sis's voice, I'd been up there with Stevie and Janice. Hell yeah. All right. I just want to sing. Okay, here we go. How Trump could dethrone the dollar. This is a Foreign Affairs piece. Hi, Shooby-Doo. Where are you? Did you come in and I didn't see you? Oh, my God. Did I miss you? I missed you. Anyway, you used to be a band singer, Max. I know you never want to meet in person, but you're like one of those people I would really love to like have coffee and hear all your stories. Like I would do that. I know you never want to do that, but I'm going to tell you right now. I would hear all your stories. I just lip sync happy birthday now. Hey baby, how you doing? Out and about in Cali. That's right, baby. No sleep for the wicked. I'll sleep when I'm dead. The world's reserve currency may not survive the weaponization of U.S. economic power. Womp womp. Let's see here. The U.S. dollar has been the dominant currency in global trade and finance for more than 7 decades. Over that time, little has ever truly threatened its position. Global economic systems operate with significant inertia. Major players, from governments to banks to multinational corporations, prefer tried and tested mechanisms for conducting trade and finance. Breathless headlines frequently declare that countries are seeking alternatives to the dollar, that a new consortium is attempting to create a rival currency, or that the latest political crisis in Washington will finally end the dollar's reserve status. But through decades of changing economic growth around the world, periods of turmoil in global markets, and questions about the future of U.S. economic policy, the dollar's dominance has remained secure. But has it ever been in the threat of digital assets? I wonder. That's new. That's new. Until now, I'm not saying I'm smarter than a foreign affairs writer. Are you leaving, Jay Rance? Are you leaving, baby? I don't know. Oh, you're just saying good morning. Okay. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing someone going. Up until now. On April 2nd, U.S. President Donald Trump announced steep new tariffs on almost every U.S. trading partner. His plans, which have sent the U.S. and global stock markets plunging, are the latest example of a consistent theme in his approach to governance, the weaponization of U.S. economic power. Trump has slapped tariffs on goods from Canada and Mexico in response to a variety of purported ills and reinvigorated the maximum pressure campaign against Iran begun in his first term. Combined with Trump's attacks on the rule of law, his clumsy, erratic attempts to weaponize Washington's economic advantages pose the greatest threat so far to the dollar's status as a reserve currency. Should that threat be realized, the United States and the world will be worse off. Without the dollar to ease trade and financial flows, growth will be slower and people everywhere will be poorer. And U.S. isolation will not bring the manufacturing revival the Trump administration claims to be aiming for, as imported raw materials grow more expensive and capital markets dry up. But you see, that's why we're taking over those countries. That's the Mar-a-Lago Accord. We get your resources and you just give them to us. Okay? You don't understand foreign affairs. Put on your shitty hat. Oh no, is she going? Oh, my baby. I missed my baby going. Darn it. I was going to take her out there. Okay. Should that threat be realized? Okay. Sorry. Without the dollar to ease trade and financial flows. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, that's my point. That's the Mar-a-Lago Accord. The true result of a declining dollar will be the demise of the very economic power it is attempting to wield. Will it, though, in his mind? This is why I want to draw the connection between real world and what is in the Mar-a-Lago Accord, just to understand how those things play out in the real world and whether or not we're truly seeing, some of those earmarks or hallmarks, I guess. Not earmark. Earmark is something else. Okay. Although the dollar overtook the British pound sterling in the mid-1920s as the currency of choice in global foreign exchange reserves, its stature as the world's reserve currency was secured only at the Bretton Woods Conference toward the end of World War II. That conference resulted in new institutions, the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank, and a new system in which currencies were pegged to the US dollar, which was convertible to gold at a fixed price. Both the institutions and the dollar peg put currency stability at the center of the global economy. Since then, the dollar has retained its commanding position through multiple upheavals, surviving even the turmoil that followed U.S. President Richard Nixon's 1971 decision to break the fixed dollar to gold exchange rate. See, that's where you start to lose me because I don't really understand that stuff. The dollar's status depends on several features that any currency must possess if it hopes to make up the lion's share of most countries' foreign exchange reserves. At the most basic level, such a currency must be liquid, that is, easily bought and sold, and most people, banks, and businesses must agree to use it in their transactions. The dollar has long been dominant on both fronts. Okay, that makes sense to me. For more than 3 decades, between 85 and 90% of the trades between currencies on foreign exchange markets have involved dollars. 85 and 90%, wow. On the financial messaging system known as SWIFT, which is how we transfer money, which international banks use to exchange tens of trillions of dollars each day, approximately 50% of transactions take place in dollars, up from around 35% a decade ago. Paulina! Oh, Paulina, how are you? Paulina's tweet featured in a Comic Sans article about MTG. I'm going to find that. And we'll drop it. I will be happy to promote that. Oh, Paulina, congratulations, girl. Let's see. The world's reserve currency doesn't just need to be liquid. He found it fantastic and widely used. It also needs to function as the common unit account for globally traded goods. Around the world, sales of commodities from oil to metals to crops are almost universally denominated in dollars. Some 54% of global trade invoices use dollar amounts, even though the United States accounts for only 10% of global trade. The final requirement for a successful reserve currency is that people, businesses, and central banks consider it a reliable store of value. For that, the currency's home country needs to have large and open financial markets with attractive investment opportunities predictably governed by the rule of law. Low and stable inflation helps too, so the currency's holders know the value of their assets will not evaporate overnight. The U.S. equity market is the largest in the world, with an overall value of $63 trillion at the end of 2024, amounting to nearly half the total value of the world's equities, even after this year's market rout. The U.S. economy is open to foreign investment. There are few restrictions on bringing capital into and out of the country. The Federal Reserve is widely viewed as independent and credible, and U.S. courts and regulators are trusted around the world to resolve business disputes, govern the economy predictably, and prevent significant corruption. It also helps that the U.S. government bond market is the largest in the world at around $28 trillion, over a quarter of the global market for government debt. U.S. government bonds, usually called treasuries, are also the most liquid form of government debt, with around $900 billion in average daily transactions. That ease of buying and selling gives central banks comfort that treasuries are a safe place to park cash. Taken together, these factors, liquidity, widespread use, and safety, make it hardly surprising that the dollar makes up the majority of international reserves and has done so for decades. The dollar's other great advantage as the world's reserve currency is that it faces no credible challengers. The Chinese I don't know how to say this, renminbi? I know I've heard people say this and I just can't remember how to say it and I feel bad. Looms on the horizon, but China lacks open and liquid financial markets, one of the most important requirements for a reserve currency. The renminbi does not float freely on foreign currency exchanges. The Chinese government restrains the free flow of capital through measures such as controls on inbound and outbound investments and restrictions on international bank transfers. Foreigners face regulatory hurdles when investing in Chinese financial markets, including the local bond market, which also lacks liquidity and depth of the world's leading debt markets. China has attempted to promote its own homegrown competitor to SWIFT, the cross-border interbank payment system, SIPS, especially since its sanctions excluded some of Russia's largest banks from SWIFT in 2022. But so far, SIPS has attracted just 0.2% of SWIFT's transaction volume. The dollar's closest competitor is the euro, which meets many of the conditions for use as a global reserve currency. The Eurozone has open and liquid capital markets, and the euro is the world's second most widely traded currency and the second most commonly held reserve currency. Yet the Eurozone does not include a fiscal union, and the bloc's largest country, Germany, was, until earlier this year, reluctant to issue significant quantities of government debt. The lack of a unified Eurozone fiscal policy led to the 2010-12 European debt crisis, which in turn caused a sharp drop in euro trading volumes on foreign exchange markets, euro-denominated SWIFT transactions, and the euro's share in central bank reserves. The Eurozone's design flaws have been compounded by the fact that U.S. equities have returned nearly 5 times as much as their European peers over the last 15 years, leading asset allocators to concentrate investments in the United States. To make matters worse for the euro, the geopolitical threat to Europe posed by Russian imperialism has given central bankers yet another reason to steer clear of the currency. Efforts to promote other upstart reserve currencies have so far gone nowhere. The BRICS group, a club of major non-Western economies, has floated a potential new currency that would compete with the dollar. In the near term, at least, this new currency, which would purportedly be backed by a basket of currencies from the participating countries, will pose no threat to dollar dominance. Not only is there no plan to create common monetary or fiscal union within the BRICS, but the countries involved also differ widely in their domestic and international priorities. A currency created by a group far more fragmented than even the Eurozone has no serious prospect of becoming the default choice for global business, especially since BRICS has not yet explained how it might work. Nor have shinier alternatives such as Bitcoin and gold found much success. Cryptocurrencies lack many of the necessary characteristics to function as reserve currencies, including liquidity, price stability, and backing from either a government or another clear source of value. Gold has been used as a currency for the millennia and formed the basis for many monetary systems until relatively recently. But its weaknesses are now apparent. For one thing, the government cannot control the supply, so relying on gold constrains their ability to respond to economic crises. This time is different. Commanding as the dollar may be, Trump's return to office has created a genuine threat to its status for the first time in generations. Given the lack of ready alternatives, the damage is unlikely to be immediately fatal, but the risk and probable pace of terminal decline has increased. At the least, Trump's actions will erode the factors supporting the dollar's dominance. In his first weeks in office, Trump pursued policies that led to a strong dollar, but since then, the greenback has slumped against other currencies. At first, the dollar rallied as U.S. interest rates rose on the back of Trump's inflationary policies, including tariffs, deportations, and proposed tax cuts. Those same policies, however, and the economic uncertainty they have created are now weighing on the dollar as markets expect them to hurt U.S. growth substantially, especially following the announcement of Trump's aggressive and far-reaching global tariffs. Supply chain disruptions driven by the trade war, labor shortages caused by deportations, and an overall policy uncertainty are hurting business and consumer sentiment, leading to lower spending, lower growth, and lower interest rates. Largely as a result of Trump's policies, European stocks outperformed the leading U.S. stock index by almost 20% over the first quarter of 2025, the biggest margin in more than 3 decades. Hi, Paul J. I told my cancer I was a Libby Lib, LOL. It's my permanent record. Welcome to the club. Oh, Jen, you guys are so great. A basket of currency. Happy Easter. Bonk, bonk. Look beyond the immediate horizon, and the risks of Trump's policies are even greater. That's right, kids. You thought today was bad? Well, wait for tomorrow. To begin with, Trump's dramatic global tariffs, in addition to destabilizing the U.S. economy, will irrevocably damage the credibility of the United States as a trading partner. Yeah. This will, in turn, undermine the need for and use of the dollar. U.S. allies will suffer the gravest harm, since many of them will face higher tariff rates than the U.S. adversaries. Israel, Japan, and the EU, for example, are all subject to higher rates than Iran or Russia. Economists have shown that countries are more likely to hold reserves of currencies from their geopolitical partners. By alienating the United States' closest allies, Trump is pushing away the countries that have been the most willing to rely on dollar-facilitated trade. Trump's decision to turn against Ukraine in its conflict with Russia and his open questioning of NATO's Article 5 mutual defense commitment are amplifying concerns about the United States' willingness to keep its promises. As countries search for ways to limit their exposure to Trump's whims, they are unlikely to rapidly reduce their dollar dependence, but in time, growing trade relations with China and other major economies could give businesses an incentive to replace the dollar in some transactions. Sanctions will provide another reason to look elsewhere. The administration's maximum pressure campaign against Iran and the forceful measures it has deployed against Venezuela indicate that the already widespread use of sanctions could ramp up even further in Trump's second term. As more countries come under U.S. sanctions, they will be motivated to do what Russia did after 2018 and reduce their reliance on the dollar for cross-border trade and currency reserves. Even if these countries don't shift away from the dollar entirely or replace it with a single dominant alternative, other payment systems like SIPs could start looking more attractive. China is the biggest trading partner for roughly 2/3 of the world's countries. If SIPs becomes the only way to do business with Chinese companies, financial institutions in those places will have a powerful incentive to sign up. Rather than reshaping their trade pattern to fit U.S. preferences, countries will reshape their financial infrastructure to keep trade flowing. Perhaps the biggest danger to the dollar's dominance comes from Trump's threats to the rule of law, which will shake the foundation on which the dollar's standing rests. The risk is not only that the administration may precipitate a constitutional crisis by defying the courts, already done, but also that a more corrupt and personalist form of government may become entrenched under a president inclined to cut deals with his friends and punish his enemies. A serious impediment to adoption of the Chinese renminbi is the rule of law, or rather the lack of it. Companies would rather end up in an American courtroom than a Chinese one any day of the week. Should this advantage erode, the results could be catastrophic. U.S. government debt, which the Congressional Budget Office has projected will rise from 100% of GDP to almost 150% by 2050, provides an additional risk. If Congress cuts taxes further without curbing spending, regardless of the budgetary tricks used in the process, the resulting debt will mean that a greater share of government revenue will go to interest payments rather than other spending priorities, hurting long-term economic growth and the appeal of U.S. assets. Some in the administration orbit have floated ideas, often under the title of a proposed Mar-a-Lago Accord. Hi there. That would make this problem significantly worse. These include compelling foreign investors to swap their U.S. government holdings for zero-interest 100-year bonds, which would hurt the credibility of the United States as a borrower and, by extension, the dollar's standing. Forcing countries to take a loss on their U.S. bond holdings will scare away future buyers. And if the swap is involuntary, maybe even classified as a default by credit rating agencies. Yes, that's part of the plan. Finally, if the economy weakens, as many Wall Street banks are now projecting, Trump could find himself on a collision course with the Fed, as happened in his first term. The Fed has indicated that it will need more clarity on the inflationary effect of Trump's tariffs before cutting interest rates further, while Trump is already demanding a looser monetary policy to stimulate a slowing economy, a pressure that is likely only to increase. Should Trump's pressure succeed, he will damage the Fed's independence and credibility, which will in turn hurt the dollar's global standing as countries begin to fear that politics, not economics, is steering U.S. monetary policy. The Fed anchors the entire dollar-based system, and once it has been politicized for one reason, it will be easier to politicize its operations for another. Central banks in such places as Canada, Japan, and Europe would, for example, rightly worry that in a crisis, a politicized Fed might even cut off their prized ability to borrow dollars through swap lines in an effort to extract concessions. That's right. That's where we're going. Even if these threats do not dethrone the dollar entirely, any reduction in its standing would have serious consequences for the United States and the world. The dollar's reserve status provides immense benefits to the United States, including lower interest rates on government debt and the power to impose hard-hitting sanctions. Other countries also... my nose is so itchy. I'm going to have a fight or kiss a fool. Other countries also find operating in the global economy earlier with a readily transferable, highly liquid, trusted currency used by most actors. The result of the dollar's decline will be higher costs, more complicated trade, and reduced living standards, at least until another currency comes along to replace it. The dollar has not always been the world's reserve currency or the currency of choice for international trade. In the 19th century, it was the pound sterling that enjoyed that status, and British financiers would have felt secure in its reign. The United Kingdom had deep, liquid capital markets, and the British Empire was the world's largest economy and the central player in global trade. Yet after 2 world wars and decades of political and economic decline, London watches sterling's global status ebbed away. There was nothing inevitable about the pound slide or the dollar's emergence, just as there is nothing inevitable about the dollar's potential demise today. Choices, not destiny, determine reserve currencies. If the dollar is finally dethroned, it will be a disaster of the Trump administration's own making. There you go. Yeah, reserve currency is why you won't eliminate the trade deficit. Yep. Yes. Oh, that was good. Thank you. Thank you, gal. All right, let's see what else is happening here. Let me see what else is happening here. What's happening here? What's happening here? Just make sure. Wait, what's this? What's this?
And so that's the only way, from my perspective, that we're
this is
gonna
the
be able
daylight
to
savings time
work here as well in order to make some progress.
Never mind. Never mind. We don't want. I don't really want to hear it. I'm sorry. Oh wait, this is what I was looking for. What's this passage of HR 22? I don't know what that is. Oh wait. Hold on. That's 24 minutes ago. I'm jogging. Oh, is that today? Oh no. Oh, it is today. Ooh, crypto XAI. There's a thing on it's at 9. Let me see about this. Hold on. Let me show you what I was looking at. You can't see it. Okay. So this looked kind of interesting to me. CoinDesk is showing it at in an hour, in 45 minutes. Wait, what? Yeah, 45 minutes. And I kind of want to watch it. Power, culture, and code. Crypto times AI. I don't know. Maybe. I might. Not sure. Anyway, that's something I kind of want to watch. But it's not for 45 minutes. So hold on. Let me see what else I've got here. I've got some. I'd kind of like to watch that. So let's kill some time between now and then. How are we going to kill time, Lolo? Well, I think we're going to do it this way. Do 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 do. Oh, I know. Did I see the TED Talk I shared? Oh, Jay, where? Did you share it in Signal? Hold on. Did you share it in Signal? Oh, the stock market's tanking. It's 17 minutes. Hold on. Let me go to Signal. La 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 la. La 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 la. I'm terrible at Signal. Can I just tell you this? I am absolutely fucking terrible. Beep. This is so good. Is it Carol Cadwaller? Fuck yes. Okay, we're doing this. Oh, wait, where'd you go? Where'd you go? Oh. Okay, you're too much. This is too much. Too many dicks on the dance floor. Stop it. Okay, hold on. This looks good. This is what a digital coup looks like. Oh, market's down. Let's check the financials right now. Google, googly goo, googly goo, googly goo, googly goo. Oh. Yeah, the Dow's down 1,000, S&P down 180, NASDAQ down 680. The VIX is at 39. Pretty high. Not terrible. I mean, it's been higher. Yeah. It's all very crazy and well, the European markets are up. The Asian markets are mostly up. Dollar's down. All the Bitcoin's down. All the crypto's down, I mean. Futures. Gold is up. Everything else is down. Down. It's down, down, down. Welcome to Thursday. It's down, down, down. 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 Wait, what was I reading? Wait. Oh, no, the TED Talk. Losing my mind. Where'd it go? Oh, here it is. Sorry. Money, 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 money. All right, here we go. Here we go. There we go, and there it is. Yeah, don't. Stop it. Okay, here we go. CEO moments of truth. Whoop, whoop. If you can't trust the U.S. bond market, why would you trust crypto? Yeah, such a good point. Ted. Hey, Ted.
I've been feeling a lot of panic and fear about this talk. And not just for the normal reasons of public speaking, although that's there too. But it's also because I want to say something meaningful, and I've been overwhelmed by the enormity of what is happening right now. And there's a particular set of circumstances which have also been feeding into my confusion and denial. And that is because the last time that I stood on this stage, it led to a 3-year legal battle, culminated in London's High Court, in which it felt like I was on trial for my life, because I was. My career, my reputation, my finances, even my home was on the line. All because I came here to warn you that I didn't think democracy was going to survive the technology that you're building, however incredible it is. In fact, I was the person who almost didn't survive, and pretty much everything that I was warning about is now coming true. I can't sugarcoat it. It's a bit of a head fuck. I have a lot of emotions about coming here, and Ted also, I suspect, is feeling them too. But what actually I finally realized yesterday is that the denial and the confusion that I've been feeling is maybe what you're feeling too. I felt powerless for a really long time. So if that's what you're feeling, I get it. But we have to act now. My alarm system is ringing again. There are things that we can do. In my case, I survived, and you will too, but it's by learning how to fight back. This is my guide, and it has to start with naming it.
It's this month.
It's a coup. I know you probably don't want to hear that, and especially here, but we can't fight it if we can't see it, and we can't see it if we don't name it. The Russian and American presidents are now speaking the same words. They are telling the same lies.
Thank you, Jay.
We are watching the collapse of the international order in real time, and this is just the start. Coups are like concrete. When they stop moving, they set. It is already later than we think. This image, some of you in this room might know these people. I call it tech bros in hostage situations. It's a message to you. This is Putin's playbook. He allows a business elite to make untold riches in exchange for absolute loyalty. Some people are calling this oligarchy, but it's actually bigger than that.
He is building himself as Putin.
These are global platforms. It's broligarchy. There is an alignment of interests that runs through Silicon Valley to what is now a coming autocracy. It's a type of power that the world has never seen before. It's always the data. It's the crack cocaine of Silicon Valley. You know, the first thing that Elon Musk did was to send his cyber troops into the US Treasury to get access to the data. That is not a coincidence, it's a hack. That data is now feeding AIs that are choosing who to sack and who to replace. Sorry, eliminate fraud and waste. When we broke the Cambridge Analytica story about the harvesting 87 million people's Facebook data, people freaked out, rightly. This is chicken feed compared to that. But it is the blueprint. It's always the data. Which is why it's so important that you start thinking about your private life. The broligarchy doesn't want you to have one. This is the old headquarters of the East German secret police. They kept detailed files on almost 1 in 3 of their citizens. That is nothing compared to what Google has on every single one of us and hundreds of other companies. The entire business model of Silicon Valley is surveillance. It harvests our data in order to sell us stuff. We are already living inside the architecture of totalitarianism. It may not have been deliberate, but we now have to start acting as if we live in East Germany and Instagram is the Stasi. Politics is downstream from culture. So I actually learned this from somebody who I think of as one of the great philosophers of our age, Steve Bannon. He actually stole it from somebody else. But it's not politicians who have the power. He knows that. It's why he's a podcast bro these days. But culture now is just what's next on your phone. And that's AI. Culture is AI now. And forget the killer robots. If you want to know what the first great AI apocalypse is, we're already living it. It's total information collapse. And if you take one thing only away from this talk, it's politics is technology now. And that's why everybody in this room, you can't look away. It's why your CEOs have been taken captive and are paraded on TV like hostages. But you have a choice. So Trump, he calls the press the enemies of the people, and he probably doesn't even know that he's quoting Stalin. So what happened to me is a playbook, and it's now coming for all sorts of other people. It was actually a friend of this guy who came after me. This is Nigel Farage. It's a Brexit funder. I'm not going to go super into the details. But 19 press freedom organizations called the lawsuit against me a slap. That means it's a strategic litigation against public participation. A really long-winded way of saying it's using law as a weapon to shut people up, not just journalists, but other public people too. And it works. I just wanted to tell you about one aspect of the litigation which I found terrifying, and that was the data harvesting. There's this quote, you may know it, it's Cardinal Richelieu. If you give me 6 lines written by the hand of the most honest of men, I will find something in them in which will hang him. In my case, the first forensic searches of my phone and laptop yielded 40,000 pieces of data. It was my messages, my emails, my voice memos, my personal life. And the whole thing about this, the attack which came from me, it's really personal. Because the thing about this litigation is only one part of the playbook. It was also this sort of massive online campaign of abuse.
Where have we seen that before?
Which is just day after day, after day, after day. Because my most unforgivable crime was reporting while female. It was a digital witch burning. And I believe that this man came after me personally, not The Guardian and not TED. It was because I looked like the weakest link. But he was wrong. And
yay, Badger!
30,000 people rose up to support me. They contributed almost £1 million to a legal defense fund because they saw a bully trying to crush me and they would not let it stand. And it always makes me emotional when I think about that. I just heard somebody was saying the camera person, I don't know where they are, contributed. This whole talk is actually my gratitude towards everybody who did that. But it's also why I know about what we have to do next. You know, Trump is suing news organizations, and every day they're settling. These are big corporates with corporate interests. Not everybody can stand up to power, but there are people who are doing it, and we can support them. We have to have each other's backs right now, because we are the cavalry now. You know, this is really important to me, but I spoke to a UK libel lawyer before this talk. I want to say that there is an awful lot of facts set down in a High Court judgment, and we're actually taking the case now to the European Court of Human Rights. We're testing the UK on its laws around freedom of expression. So look after facts. You'll miss them when they've gone. This is Wayback Machine. Give them money. They're trying to preserve the internet as it's being deleted day by day.
Yes, Carol Cadwalladr.
History is our
She's
best
a journalist,
chance
really
of getting
good
out
journalist.
of this. You know, you probably know this phrase, do not obey in advance. That's Tim Snyder, who's a historian of authoritarianism. We now are in techno-authoritarianism. We have to learn how to digitally disobey. That can be as simple as the drop-down box. Don't accept the cookies. Don't give your real name. download Signal, the encrypted messaging app. Don't bomb Yemen. Don't add the editor of The Atlantic to your group chats. Oh, don't experiment on children. You know, social mores change. We don't send children down coal mines anymore. And in years to come, allowing your child to be data harvested from birth will be considered child abuse. You didn't know, but now you do. Privacy is power. And we have more of it than we think. I had this little epiphany yesterday in which I realized actually the moments when I felt most powerless were the moments that I felt I was actually most powerful. It was because my journalism had impact. They want us to feel powerless. That's the plan. There is so much, though, that we can learn from people who've been through this before. Alexei Navalny, the leader of the Russian opposition, he always talked about a beautiful Russia of the future. He painted a vision. There is a beautiful internet of the future, free from corporate capture and data tracking.
Wait, what happened?
Did I build it.
I got stuck. Okay,
It is going to take a move.
That's okay. I'll come back. I'll come back. I'll come back. I'll come back. Hey, thanks, Obama. I'm back. I'm coming back. I'm coming back. Ooh, 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 ooh. Blondie strikes again. No good trouble. La 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 la. It's a strike. Mm. Am I here? Am I back yet? Am I back? Oh, have I been totally taken back? Have I been totally taken down? Wait, have I totally been taken down? I think I come back. Oh yeah, no, please. No worries. Do 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 do. Free Lolo. Do 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 do. Well, you can't be a naughty girl. Wait, am I back? Oh, again? It happened again? Wait, what? I gotta go to my thing here. I'm gonna go to my thing. Hold on. Do 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 do. Hey, do 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 do. There will be an EO signed against me. I can guarantee it. Stream unavailable. I'm here. Come on. I'm here. I'm here. Do, 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 do. What happened? Why did I get silenced again? For policy violations? What policy violation? Oh, there I am. I'm here. What policy violations? What happened? Well, forget it. We guess we're not going to watch any more of that. Yeah, it just takes a minute. It just takes a minute to come back. Pussies. Yeah, now start a film called Trump Golfing. That's what I'll do. Hey, man, you can't hold down wake and bake. We will wake and we will bake. We will be waked and we will be baked. Damn it. Work with the Google gods. Yeah, it's like it has to warm back up or something. You know, it's so weird. It like takes your... Oh, Jay, you stop that. Jay Rants, you take that money back. You are not to feel anything about this. Oh my God, I went down again. Oh my God. Am I copyrighted? I can't stop laughing. It just says policy violation. Why? I didn't do anything. What was that you were watching? I didn't think it was even the TED thing. Okay, wait, hold on. I have to remove the stream. Okay. All right. Okay.